The Scorpions are a rock band from Germany that formed in 1965. They're one of the most successful and well-known German rock bands with a career spanning over 5 decades. The band is known for their hard rock and heavy metal sound as well as their electrifying live performances. One of the reasons why the Scorpions' success story is so unlikely is that they came from a country that was not traditionally associated with rock music. In the 1950s and 1970s, the German music scene was dominated by electronic and experimental music, such as the bands Kraftwerk and Can. The Scorpions' heavy rock sound was a departure from this trend, and they faced significant challenges in getting their music recognised and accepted. Despite this, the Scorpions persevered and gradually built up a following in Germany and other European countries. They gained international recognition in the late 1970s and early 1980s with the hits Rock You Like a Hurricane and No One Like You. The band continued to release successful albums and tour throughout the 1980s and 1990s, cementing their status as one of the most successful rock bands of all time. Another reason why the Scorpions' success story is so unlikely is that they have managed to stay relevant and popular for over 5 decades. Many rock bands struggle to maintain their popularity and relevance over such a long period of time, but the Scorpions have managed to do so by continually evolving their sound and staying true to their roots. The Scorpions' success story is unlikely because they came from a country that was not traditionally associated with rock music and faced significant challenges in getting their music recognised and accepted. However, their perseverance, hard work and dedication to their craft have paid off, and they've become one of the most successful and well-known rock bands of all time. Let's discuss the Scorpions' image, or rather, the lack of it. The Scorpions are known not only for their hard rock and heavy metal sound, but also for their non-pretty boy image. Unlike many rock bands of their time who emphasise their looks and sex appeal, the Scorpions focus on their music and their raw, edgy image. They were not afraid to embrace their rough and rebellious side, which appealed to a generation of young people looking for something different. One aspect of the Scorpions' non-pretty boy image is their rough and tough look. The band members often wore leather jackets, ripped jeans, and other clothing that emphasised their rock and roll attitude. They also sported long hair and, in Rudolf Schenker's case, a moustache which added to their gritty and masculine image. The band members' physical appearance helped to reinforce the rebellious spirit and made them stand out from other more polished rock bands. Another aspect of the Scorpions' non-pretty boy image is their lyrics and subject matter. The band often wrote about taboo topics like sex, drugs and rebellion, which resonated with a young rebellious audience. They also wrote about social issues such as war, poverty and inequality, which reflected the political and social climate of the time. These themes helped to establish the Scorpions as a band with a message rather than just a group of musicians making catchy tunes. The Scorpions' non-pretty boy image is reflected in their live performances. The band members were known for their high-energy explosive shows, which often included pyrotechnics, elaborate stage sets, and other theatrical elements. They were not afraid to push the boundaries of what was considered acceptable in a live show, and their fans loved them for it. The Scorpions' everyman image helped to establish them as a unique and rebellious force in the rock music scene. Their rough and tough look, taboo lyrics, and explosive live performances set them apart from other more polished rock bands and helped to create a loyal following of fans who appreciated their raw, edgy style. The Scorpions' success is a testament to their perseverance, dedication and talent, as well as their ability to adapt to changing musical trends and stay relevant over the years. The band was formed in Hanover in 1965 by guitarist Rudolf Schenker. Initially, the Scorpions played a mix of blues and rock and roll, but they soon developed a harder, more heavy metal sound. They released their first album, Lonesome Crow, in 1972, but it was not a commercial success. Despite this setback, the Scorpions continued to play live shows and hone their craft. In 1974, they released their second album, Fly to the Rainbow, which featured the hit single Speed Is Coming. This album helped to establish the Scorpions as a rising force in the German music scene. Over the next few years, the Scorpions continued to release albums and tour extensively, building up a loyal fan base in Germany and other European countries. However, they faced significant challenges in gaining international recognition. At the time, the music scene was dominated by British and American rock bands, and there was little interest in German rock music. Undeterred, the Scorpions continued to work hard and refine their sound. They released their breakthrough album Love Drive in 1979, which featured the hit singles Loving You Sunday Morning and Holiday. This album helped to establish the Scorpions as a major force in the international rock scene, and they began to tour extensively in the United States and other countries. Throughout the 1980s, the Scorpions continued to release successful albums and tour the world, cementing their status as one of the most successful and well-known rock bands of all time. They scored major hits with songs like Rock You Like a Hurricane, Still Loving You, and Wind of Change, which became an anthem for the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. So how did the Scorpions become so successful from a non-traditional rock country like Germany? There are several factors that contributed to their success. 1. Hard work and dedication. The Scorpions were a hard-working band that spent years honing their craft and perfecting their sound. They played countless live shows and released albums even when they weren't commercially successful. This dedication and hard work paid off in the long run, as they eventually became one of the most successful rock bands in the world. 2. Musical talent. The Scorpions were a talented group of musicians who had a unique sound that set them apart from other rock bands of their time. They were able to blend hard rock, heavy metal and pop music into a style that appealed to a wide range of fans. 3. Adaptability. The Scorpions were able to adapt to changing musical trends and stay relevant over the years. They were able to transition from their early blues and rock and roll sound to a harder, more heavy metal sound, and then incorporated pop elements into their music. This adaptability helped them to stay relevant and appeal to a new generation of fans. As we've already mentioned, the Scorpions often wrote about taboo topics like sex, drugs and rebellion, which resonated with a young, rebellious audience. They also wrote about social issues such as war, poverty and inequality, which reflected the political and social climate of the time. These themes helped to establish the Scorpions as a band with a message rather than just a group of musicians making catchy tunes. Live performances. The Scorpions were well known for an energetic stage show where they pulled out all the stops. From pyrotechnics to brilliant guitar work to magical songs with huge choruses that got the crowd singing, the Scorpions were everyone's favourite band and were always a must-see concert whenever they came to town. Global appeal. Despite being a German band, the Scorpions were able to appeal to a global audience. They sang in English, which made their music accessible to fans around the world. They also had a unique sound that blended different genres, making their music appealing to a wide range of people. Marketing and promotion. The Scorpions were able to market themselves effectively, which helped to build their fan base. They toured extensively, performing live shows around the world, and they also released music videos, which were a new and innovative way to promote their music at the time. Collaborations. The Scorpions collaborated with other musicians and producers over the years, which helped to expand their reach and appeal. For example, their hit Wind of Change was produced by Keith Olsen, an American producer who had worked with other successful rock bands like Fleetwood Mac and Foreigner. This collaboration helped to bring the Scorpions' music to a wider audience. Enduring legacy. The Scorpions have a lasting legacy that has helped to keep them relevant even decades after they first formed. They have influenced countless other rock bands and musicians over the years, and their music continues to be played on radio stations and streaming platforms around the world. Personal branding. The Scorpions have a distinctive image and branding that helps them to set apart from other rock bands of their time. They were known for their long hair, leather jackets and rebellious attitude, which helped appeal to young people looking for a way to express themselves. The Scorpions' success can be attributed to a combination of hard work, musical talent, adaptability, marketing and promotion, collaborations and enduring legacy. Despite being from a non-traditional rock country, they were able to break through to the international scene and become one of the most successful, influential rock bands of all time. The Scorpions have released many great albums through their long and successful career. It can be difficult to narrow down the top 5, but here are some of the most acclaimed and popular albums. Blackout, 1982. This album is often considered one of the band's best and most influential. It features some of their biggest hits including No One Like You and Blackout. The album has a strong hard rock sound and showcases the band's impressive musicianship. Love at First Sting, 1984. This album was a huge commercial success and helped to solidify the Scorpions' status as one of the biggest rock bands in the world. It features some of their most iconic songs such as Rock You Like a Hurricane and Still Loving You. The album has a more polished sound than their earlier work and features some catchy hooks and memorable choruses. 3. Love Drive, 1979. This album is often considered a turning point for the Scorpions, as it marked a shift towards a more melodic and polished heavy metal sound. It features the hit song Loving You Sunday Morning and showcases the band's impressive songwriting and musicianship. 4. Virgin Killer, 1976. This album is controversial for its controversial album cover, but it also features some of the band's best and most progressive music. It includes the popular songs Pictured Life and Backstage Queen and showcases the band's ability to experiment with different styles and sounds. 5. Animal Magnetism, 1980. This album features some of the band's most underrated songs, such as Make It Real and The Zoo. It has a darker, heavier sound than some of their other albums and showcases the band's versatility and ability to evolve their sound. Of course, this is just one person's opinion, and there are many other great Scorpions albums to choose from, but these 5 albums are a great starting point for anyone looking to explore the band's extensive discography. Scorpions are also known for having some of the most influential lead guitarists in the history of heavy rock music. Over the years, the band has featured several talented and innovative guitarists who have helped to shape the band's sound and influence generations of musicians. Here are some of the most notable Scorpions lead guitarists and their contributions. 1. Michael Schenker. Schenker was one of the founding members of the Scorpions and helped to establish the band's early sound. He was also known for his technical skill and intricate solos, which were a major influence on other guitarists in the genre. After leaving the Scorpions, Schenker went on to have a successful career with the bands UFO and Michael Schenker Group. 2. Uli Jon Roth. Roth joined the Scorpions in 1973 and played with the band for several years. He was known for his experimental approach to guitar playing, which involved using a range of different effects and techniques. Roth's contributions to the band's early albums helped establish the Scorpions as a leading force in the European metal scene. 3. Matthias Jabs. Jabs joined the Scorpions in 1979 and has been with the band ever since. He's known for his melodic and technically proficient playing style, which has helped to shape the band's sound over the years. Jabs has also contributed to the band's songwriting, and his work on albums like Love at First Sing helped make the Scorpions one of the most popular rock bands in the world. 4. Rudy Schenker. Schenker is the band's rhythm guitarist and also contributes lead guitar parts on many of their songs. He's known for his energetic and powerful playing style, which provides a solid foundation for the band's music. Schenker's contributions to the Scorpions' songwriting and live performances have helped to make the band one of the most iconic in rock history. Overall, the Scorpions' lead guitarists have played a major role in shaping the band's sound and a profound influence on generations of musicians. Their technical proficiency, experimental approach, and melodic playing styles have helped to establish the Scorpions as one of the most innovative and influential bands in the history of rock music. The Scorpions are a classic band that has been around for over 5 decades, and they're still as popular as ever. They have an international fan base and people all over the world love their timeless hits like Rock You Like a Hurricane and Wind of Change. The band's high-energy live shows are legendary and their concerts are described as epic and unforgettable. Their dedication to their craft and their fans has helped them remain relevant and popular. The Scorpions are more than just a band. They represent a connection to the classic rock era of the 70s and 80s that many fans still cherish today. They have a nostalgic appeal that keeps them relevant, and their consistent quality has ensured their staying power. So if you're looking for a band that can still rock a stadium and bring the house down with their electrifying live performances, the Scorpions are definitely worth checking out. To my friends and I at high school back in the early 80s, the Scorpions appealed to all of us because they just seemed like one of us, just regular guys enjoying their music. They made us feel that dreams were within reach. Even for guys like us, it made us feel that we could dream, we could do it, and everything was possible. That's the beauty of the Scorpions. They appealed to everybody for different reasons. They gave everybody the belief that dreams can come true.